Hi, and welcome to this week's 5-Minute Friday, where we'll be talking a little bit more about reverse engineering. Firstly, this 5-Minute Friday has come from a conversation again that we had with a customer. They keep on hearing the phrase reverse engineering, and they've been part of conversations where they're trying to understand whether reverse engineering is something that is useful for them. So their question to us was really, what is reverse engineering and how can we use it? To put it simply, reverse engineering allows us to use some measured data of an actual part and extract information from that scan data of that part to either create a redesign or to archive the data. The way that we do it, there's two methodologies really. One is through simply extracting geometry from the scan data. So that can be things as simple as planes on flat surfaces, cylinders in holes or circles. We can create sections through scan data. We can create slots, we can create really lots of geometric features that exist in the scan data, and we can export those as what we call IGs entities. Now those IGs can be then fed directly into pretty much any standard CAD platform. The great thing is we can actually create that data that I've just spoken about in free software. You don't need to have expensive reverse engineering software to be able to do that level of reverse engineering, and it will still give you real world data of a real world part that you can then go and do some redesign on or build a model from scratch using that information. The second part of reverse engineering is a little bit more in depth, and this is where we actually use the scan data and its complex geometry, or the capture of that complex geometry, to be able to create a CAD model as a replica of that real world part. Now there's lots of reasons to want to do that. One could be that you need to just digitally archive that part as a working CAD model, as an up-to-date CAD model of that component, so that you can just save that away rather than keeping the part itself in-house, which could be taking up valuable storage space. The other reason would be, or one of the other reasons could be, that you're changing suppliers. We hear this regularly. We've had multiple projects this year already where customers have needed to move from one supplier to another for whatever reason that might be, but they don't own their CAD data, because often the task is given to a tool maker to produce a tool that will produce their part, so they don't see the CAD data. By being able to accurately scan the surface of a component and then being able to extract that information to create a CAD model which is a real representation of the part in front of them, of their own part, means that they take control back of their component, which means that they can then freely go from supplier A to supplier B with accurate drawings and ask that supplier, can you now make this part for me? Here are the drawings you require. That's really important actually for a lot of customers these days. They're taking back control of their own parts. So that's a really powerful reason for using reverse engineering, and it's not really possible without using the scan data first. So it's important to have a high quality scan that is very accurate, where you've captured lots of the detail, and it's important to use a good software to do it. As I said, we use Geomagic heavily for this type of work. Geomagic Design X software is fantastic for this. It's purely built for reverse engineering. So those are two really strong reasons for doing reverse engineering. And the final reason really is part optimization, or for redesign. So if you're doing add-ons, like modular fittings of components onto a part that already exists, you can scan that part very quickly these days. So using the laser-based scanners that we would use here, you collect the data so quickly, you're straight into reverse engineering software. From that platform, you've got a real entity in the digital space that represents the real world part, and you can model around that. You can create your additional components that it is that you want to design, and then you might want to then take that straight to a 3D printer, which you could print your prototype off. So reverse engineering there is used to rapidly go from part in hand and an idea in your head to actually having a working prototype in your hand. And we've seen this turned around in a matter of days on some components that we've worked with, because that's the world we live in now. If you have scanning technology, or you have access to scanning technology, and you have the skill set or access to the skill set and the software to reverse engineer, and then finally access to a printer, you can create real world parts very, very quickly. And we've been working with a lot of customers over a number of years now. So if this is something that you're interested in, you would like to discuss more about, we have a wealth of knowledge around this area. It can be a minefield and it can be quite intimidating, but it's so powerful and it really is quite straightforward to do, depending on whether you want to use free software or whether you want or need to have something more complex. I believe we can help. We've had a very busy week, so I've not been able to do too much else on the video side of things, but we've got some really exciting things over the next sort of month or so keep an eye out for those. But yeah, that's it for another 5 Minute Friday. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, as I said, drop them in the comments section below, or better still, give us a call and happily discuss how reverse engineering could potentially be a very useful tool for you and your projects. Okay, see you in the next video. Thanks.